The president-elect is well on his way to establishing his cabinet, and I think it is a solid cabinet that reflects a lot of experience and expertise in a host of areas, but specifically placing a high importance on the partnership, the 7 decades of a relationship between the European Union and the United States, and all of the changes that have taken place over those 7 decades.
So what can we do to collaborate and work forward? Well, come January 20th, there's a new sheriff in town. We're going to have a new administration.
Ursula von der Leyen, as Commission's president on our side, she's really interested in good transatlantic relations. She has this background for years. She was active in the field of defense before, even when she was only a minister on the state level 15 years ago. She was interested in transatlantic relationship, and therefore, I think with her on top of the European Commission, that is a very big chance we have.
Look, we are at quite a complicated time here in the United States. I hope some of that complexity sort of fades away on January 21st, when Joe Biden is inaugurated as President of the United States and Kamala Harris as the Vice President. You all know Joe Biden. He is a transatlantic champion. He believes in the importance of this relationship and the centrality, quite frankly, of this relationship. You all know Tony Blinken, who is the designate to be Secretary of State. He, in fact, grew up in Paris and speaks virtually native French. His mother still lives in Paris. He's very committed to the transatlantic relationship and came up through European affairs and understanding that. So you've got folks at the top of this pyramid who completely are committed to rebuilding this alliance. The last opening point I want to make, which I think is fundamental for us and for you for that matter, is that Joe Biden constantly says, America cannot just be about the example of our power, but must be about the power of our example. And what he means by that is that America has to restore its credibility. Thanks so much for that. I think that's really important. And this conference that you're having today, which is to sort of come up with what those ideas, what that agenda is, will be incredibly useful. I mean, all of the ways forward are not just going to come out of the United States. So your creativity around what the economy of the future would look like, your creativity about how to reaffirm democracy. Europe is facing your own challenges of some countries in the European Union who, quite frankly, are challenging democracy in really profound ways, as profound as the craziness around our election. So ideas that you have about things that we need to do, you know that the president-elect wants to create a meeting of democracies. What should that look like? What are your ideas for that agenda, given your own experience? How do we move forward on climate, which Europe has been very aggressive about in some ways, more so than the United States? Technology is a place where we have differences, but you all have done a lot of thinking about how to manage privacy. We need to appreciate that most of the large technology companies are American. So the ideas that come from Europe cannot be perceived as anti-American, as somehow pushing back American companies. These are the companies that are the engines for all of us in liberal democracies for the future. Now, there are many ways we have to pull in those technology companies. Americans want some of those regulatory frameworks that don't currently exist. So let's share ideas and let's figure out the best way forward. Your last speaker before I came on, and I quite agree that intensifying the legislature to legislature dialogue is really critical, and to ensure that that includes Republicans as well as Democrats, because there are some Republicans who do care about climate, do care about the jobs of the future, see what's happening in their own communities. And if you can engage them in a conversation at the legislative level, that will be immensely helpful. From everything I have heard and everything I've seen and everything I know of the president-elect, the vice president-elect, the secretary of state designate, and all of the other senior leadership that's being identified, is that reestablishing a strong, vibrant, and full relationship with Europe is job one.
And I think after the 4 lost years in the transatlantic relations, which we just have been seeing, it is really up to us on both sides of the Atlantic to make sure that on the one hand, the new Biden team, and on our side, Ursula von der Leyen and her team really can develop a good transatlantic relationship to really challenge the challenges together.